Hey, good Thursday morning, everybody. BAM Weather meteorologist Brett Waltz here, giving you a Northern Plains forecast update. Guys, overall, not too busy of a morning for most of us. We do have some heavy rain actually ongoing in far southeastern parts of Minnesota, southeast of Rochester near Houston, Minnesota. We do have some heavy rain ongoing right now, but you can see the very slow, gradual pull south and east with that rain. I do think that it slowly works out of that area as we work further into the day today. Elsewhere throughout the area, you can actually see the front that's working through parts of Minnesota right now, Duluth, and then up into northeastern parts of the state. You can see that line is quickly progressing off to the east. That is the frontal boundary, the main cold front that is pushing off to the east. Behind it, we're going to have some gustier winds today, and temperatures are going to drop down into the 40s, maybe some 30s by the time we work into tomorrow morning. So again, as that front passes, going to start to get some windier and cooler weather. Now, out to the west, we do have a very weak wave that's working through parts of South Dakota. You can see it's very, very light for the most part, not going to be a huge issue, and I do think that it starts to fizzle a little more as we work into this afternoon. Current temperatures right now, you can see across the area, you can very clearly see where that boundary is setting up across the area. I mean, it's right through central parts. So you've got the rain out ahead right now, and then as this pushes through, it should continue to help move that precipitation out of the area. Now, behind it, as I mentioned, gusts. Wind gusts are going to be working today as much as anywhere from 35 to 40 miles an hour. If we go over here, I do want to look at our wind gusts. Let me see. Those are temperatures. Here are our wind gusts throughout the day today. Let me move this screen a little bit. You can see, guys, especially across North Dakota, we're going to be dealing with some gusts of 30, 35 miles an hour, locally higher. Should begin to weaken as we work into tonight. So as far as additional precipitation chances, guys, again, as I mentioned, I think that rain in southeastern Minnesota begins to fizzle off closer to around the noontime hours today. And then most of us are going to be dry through a good part of the day. So additional accumulation, I mean, down in southeastern parts of the state, you may get localized a half an inch to an inch of rain in some of those heavier pockets. But for the most part, you can see those heaviest rains are going to stay off to our east throughout the day today. Now, I do want to mention that there's a weak little wave of energy that's going to be pushing through as we work into this evening. Could spawn a couple of very light sprinkles or showers up towards Fargo, Grand Forks, Bemidji, Devil's Lake, Fergus Falls. I do think that some isolated sprinkles or a very light shower cannot be ruled out. And then into tomorrow morning, still have some energy spinning around, but I think that most of the day tomorrow for the area is going to be on the dry side. Now, with that being said, the pattern isn't all that active the next several days, but that will change as we work into early next week. So this was our hazardous weather map that we put out this morning on the weather porthole. One thing that I want you to know, we're targeting the potential for a strong to severe cluster of storms as we work into next Wednesday. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that there's not going to be any other chances before that. We've got a big ridge of high pressure that's going to be building, and though that is where the best severe and strong storm chances will be, I think that we need to watch around the periphery of this ridge as early as Saturday for the risk of some showers and storms. The better threat is going to come, though, as this ridge really starts to work overhead into early next week. So by next Monday, what I want you to note here is we've got a big area of high pressure to the south. It's probably going to force some of the precipitation chances up further to the north, but we've got a nice connection from the Pacific, and we are going to be rotating around energy around the north side of that high probably for a good part of next week. Beginning Monday and then into Wednesday is probably when we close things out with that stronger storm threat. So we certainly need to keep a very close eye on that. If we take a look at our upper level energy, again, Saturday, we start to see some weak energy work through, but it's as we work into Sunday, southwestern parts of the area, you can see starting to circulate some more energy in, but especially into Monday, you can see a more persistent flow of energy over the top of that ridge is going to develop. Tuesday, same thing. And then as we work into Wednesday, I think that it's across southern Minnesota that we need to watch here. And you can see it. You can see it trying to start there for the risk of some severe weather. So if we take a look, I'm not going to show you any total precipitation amounts yet. because no way to nail down the exact track of these clusters of storms this far out, but I want to show you the risk. So Saturday, again, mainly a light rain chance across southwestern and southern South Dakota. As we work into your Sunday, again, it's probably going to be more like Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado. It's as we work into Monday, I think that we start to see more of the storm risks start to develop. And then especially into Tuesday and Wednesday here, you can see that very clearly going to increase those rain and storm chances on the north side there, especially across South Dakota, southern Minnesota. Those are probably going to be the biggest target areas. But again, this is just a general idea. I don't want you to take away where it shows, an inch of rain in spots. It's not necessarily, nailed down at this point because these systems are very difficult to get a handle of up to 24 hours out from the event. So I'm just showing you it to give you a general idea that the storm activity is going to be picking up into next week. Did want to mention Sunday before we go, I do think that some winds on Sunday are going to be gusty across western parts of the area. If we take a look here, I think that Sunday afternoon across western, north, and South Dakota, some gusts 35 to 40 miles an hour. As we mentioned before, I think that we've got cooler air for your low temperatures tomorrow morning, maybe down into the low 40s, upper 30s across North Dakota. And then I did want to touch on the heat that is going to be building, because to get those storms to develop, we got to have some heat, and we're certainly going to be building some of that in. So here's your high temperatures on Sunday. Nice for the most part of the area, but you can see that heat building out to the west. As we work into your Monday, I think we're going to be dealing with widespread mid-80s, maybe some 90s across South Dakota. As we work into your Tuesday, you can see where that gradient sets up. Again, that is where those storms are going to flow over the top of the ridge. I'll draw a little circle here. I think that it's going to be, let me see if I can get my drawing tool on here. Think that it's going to be generally, and let me get a better color because red's kind of hard to see. Let me get blue on there. It's going to be this area north of the big heat. So again, it's going to ride just to the north of where the greatest amount of heat is. So certainly need to keep an eye on those areas for heavy rain and storm chances into early next week. So guys, that's all I have for today's forecast. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great rest of your day.